Yes, would a speaker produce better noise if it levitated in the air? That is the theory behind the Mars. Looks a little bit like this.
We love music, and we don't want anything to get in the way of how it sounds. But placing speakers on a surface leads to sound quality loss. Not anymore.
But is there any actual science behind this idea of it levitating?
Look, I can see an argument perhaps for this device as the speaker around in a meeting room where you've got a group of people around it and it's floating up, so basically the sound is not blocked in any of the 360 degrees around it. And secondly, I guess they're saying that it won't vibrate through the table. But what about bass? What about low frequency? A speaker floating up there like that with a very small area is going to be tinny, it seems to me. So maybe they've got a bass speaker in it. I mean, it looks cool. It looks like science.
Well, no, you're actually 100% correct, though, because the big long cylinder, that is where the bass, it works on two levels. Bass with an E, bass with two S's. That's what comes out of that. So it's
and also
actually
bass in that the technology is quite bass.
Expand on that for me. How so?
Look, I had a good look at speaker technology because I'm not an audiophile and this isn't my area of expertise at all. And I could not work out for the life of me how levitating these small speakers would make the sound any better to any normal ears, particularly when it seems that good speakers need to be quite large, and that the larger the surface area, you tend to get better speakers. The surface area of this little flying saucer is tiny. Now add to that the fact that you'll probably be playing crappy MP3s that have been saved onto your computer or something that's streamed from YouTube. So already you're starting with a fairly low quality sound that's then being played through these little speakers. If they think they're saving any sort of sound quality by making it float, I think that's crazy. And I asked our sound engineer, our very expertise sound engineer, and he scoffed and looked at the price tag and said, you can get better speakers, I'm sure, if you just go to the shops right now and forget this campaign.
What are the sorts of things that do improve sound? Like, generally speaking, like, what are the sorts of innovations happening in sound at the moment that actually do help?
Look, we've kind of gone backwards in sound. I mean, 10, 15 years ago, we used to have large speakers in a room with a big amplifier and we played CDs and perhaps vinyl before that. But since the dawn of computer listening to audio, people have started using smaller and smaller speakers or in-ear earphones. We've really gone backwards a long way. What you need is a speaker that is pretty flat and is not resonant on any of these low frequencies. Now, having said that, some of the modern little Bluetooth speakers are amazingly good. I mean, they look quite small, and yet the sound that comes out of them you wouldn't believe. So they're obviously using perhaps digital signal processing to actually compensate for the resonance in the cabinet, and they have come on. But we've really, I think, overall gone backwards.
How do you see the audio market changing in the next 5 years? What's its next permutation from here on in?
Well, the really interesting thing that's happened just in the last few years, I guess it comes out of Beats, is the fact that people are now using large headphones, good quality, solid headphones, which, you know, for a long time disappeared. And people actually are happy to walk around the streets with big, proper headphones and spend $500 on a quality pair of headphones. That's something we haven't seen for many, many years, except in studios and with musicians. So things are changing.
And I think there's also some, I guess just to take a bit of a pivot, but there are some really cool advancements in the disability sector when it comes to hearing. So, for example, there was a man in the UK, and it was recently reported he's going deaf, and they upgraded his hearing aid so that he could hear Wi-Fi. Now, it was so what they did is they took the signals that were coming from Wi-Fi and enabled his hearing aid and a smartphone app to kind of work together to transform those electrical signals into something that he could hear.
What does it actually do?
Well, so what this system is doing is it's picking up the Wi-Fi signal, so the router name, the signal strength, this sort of thing, and it's giving this man a picture of all of the Wi-Fi in his city. So as he walks through London, he can sort of pick up where Wi-Fi is throughout the city. Now, it was just an example. Obviously, the pings that he would hear that represent the various sort of Wi-Fi signals. So they converted, say, a particular name of a router into a various ping, ping, ping that he can hear. Now, that's fairly useless, but it is an example of the technology that is possible. And I think that is exciting.
But the upside, though, is he does get to hear all of the amazingly witty names that people
gonna
come up
say.
with for their Wi-Fi network.
There's one down my street, their network is called Baby Killer.
There are so many good ones that I should not read out
We
because
can
they're all
hear
my
you.
neighbours,
Oh, yeah.
and then you will know. All right, there's a whole show where we discuss this and a lot more. Just head over to the RN website. And of course, leave your comments below. Do you think this is something you'd like to buy? Let us know. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the RN YouTube channel. Thanks, guys.